Oh, my friends, it feels like such a long time. It's the middle of June, and I finally feel like I have a breath to cover May in my Hobonichi Cousin. And I did start doing some different things in May in my dailies, so stick around to see that. And let's see what thoughts rise to the top. If you want to see anything more detailed with my weeklies, I did last post a weeklies video from the setup all the way to when it was finished and completed. So let's start with the yearly index. I'm still using my leather case, which was not intended for this, but the clear case I got was not doing well for it. I think it was splitting the spine. All right, so here we go. Here where I wrote hula hoop, this was some lyrics that I had written that I'm working on a song called Hula Hoop, and so I mark it up there so I remember that these are the days that I put those lyrics in. I have seen some people use their dailies just as like a collection of notes, and this is where they index what's on each particular page, which is a great idea. That is not something I did start doing, but I will show you at the end. Went to some pigeons playing ping pong. That was a lot of fun. All the birthdays, I just keep this for like appointments, sometimes just bigger things, like we changed the water filters down in our basement for our bigger water system in the house. And we'll see if I actually go back and look to see when I did that. I don't know. Sometimes I just forget. We also did write it down on there. I put down the gigs, something big that happened, like started watching Supernatural with my son on Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, I kind of force him to watch things that I want to watch. That shows him that he can respect my television decision making, and then he learns a little something and he can be the wise one amongst his friends. Had some gigs. We only had 2 gigs and lunch with a friend. I try to forward fill as much as I can when I have appointments coming up. And there are some I still haven't done here, but I did in my main calendar. For the monthly in May, I do always add some stickers all around. I got a little bit more heavy with the stickers, I think, this month than previously. They're just fun. I don't know. Every page I feel like kind of needs a sticker, except the dailies, although lately I've been adding them to almost every page of the dailies as well. And again, this is just a wider view of how I use my month, what I'm doing. I started alternating between meal plans and writing the meal plan I have for that week and then outlining it in blue so that I know what to expect that's coming in the mail, but also so I can keep track between all the stinking apps that I'm using to get food. And I've been enjoying skipping around in them. I've been trying to eat a lot better for myself and just having variety. And sometimes, you know, you do these meal plans and you don't really like anything they have to offer. Well, going through alternate ones is a really good option in that case. I just woke up. My brain feels crazy, but before everybody else wakes up, I thought I would try to get this in there so you're getting my sleepiness. So there we are for May. Let's get to the weeklies, huh? Let's get to the beginning of May in our weeklies. Ta-da! May 1st was on a Wednesday, and I'm making it work at work because I have to go to the office on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and after being at home for 4 years, it really throws a wrench in everything. It is better than going in every day. I found that working at home just really, really works for me and for the job I do and the focus I need. Now, when I'm at the office, it's nice. I can focus a lot when I'm at the office. When I don't have a lot of meetings, when we're not talking to people, when we're not going down to have lunch and having conversations. So in many ways, it's good for me socially. Ironically, it's bad for me productively when you go to work. But, you know, I get the point. It's just, I'll stop whining about it now. So this is a sticker. This is not my amazing handwriting. This is a sticker from one of my books. I love these girls here. And this says it's hot, though it looks like it's shot, and I don't know what that means. Coffee, then meetings. Go home. My son started not feeling well around here. I've been learning a lot more in Canva and trying to experiment with some shorts and longer form AI video stuff. I need to exercise, but I think it was just too busy of a day. And all the stuff that we do, what we had for dinner. I took a walk with my loves, trying to learn CapCut. Can she learn CapCut? I filmed my sticker video. Oh, wow, that was in May. That's pretty fun. I'm learning a lot about stickers still from that video, which is neat. Like these stickers over here that I really enjoy, they're really thin, can barely feel them. I now know that those are called washi stickers. Thank you, commenters and viewers. That helps me a lot. We went to go see pigeons playing ping pong with friends in Kendall Street Company. Kendall Street Company was so good. They were so good. Old 97s was on CBS Saturday morning. That was great. We were going to play disc golf with our friends who came down to see the pigeons. Instead, we just ate food. I feel like that's all friends should do together, eat food. And my son got a guitar, which has been great, but his first one wasn't the greatest, so he did end up exchanging it with his dad and getting a better one. But the really cool thing about that is that we had our first ever jam together, so that was really neat. I think he loved it a lot, and it was the first time we ever got to do that. That made me kind of stoked. CBS this Sunday morning with some coffee. I did a tarot reading for my friend. Whenever I see her, she really likes to get one, which I appreciate. Lunch with the best wings ever. That's the first week. Let's take a look at the second week. I don't normally go down it row by row, but I don't know, is there harm? I started this kind of tracking method because it's simple, right? So I do the 4 things I wanted to focus on that week. I wanted to walk, exercise, read, learn, put the days of the week, and then in each row coincides with each task, if you will. So the first row is walking, second row exercise, third row reading, fourth row learning. Later I write in pale letters what they are here as well and just write over them, which honestly, that's all it could be. It could be just this, and this space could be used for something else. But I enjoy doing this. I did pretty well with the walking 3 days a week. I exercised 4 days a week, and I do separate them out, but exercise is if I walked with weights or if I did some other kind of workout after or before my walk. And then reading, I'm so glad I'm getting better with reading, mostly because I am now reading before I go to sleep again. For a good year or two, I stopped reading before bed. It would keep me awake. I wanted to just try to focus on sleep, but I can't. I just stay awake for like an hour, tossing and turning, and reading just settles me to get me to sleep. And I got this fabulous book light that has 4 different types of light with about 5 different brightness levels. And then it has a timer on it with a button, and it's very light. It clips to the back page of a paperback, does not bend your page. It's amazing. It's $13. If I remember, I will put a link in the description for any of my readers out there. And it's real sleek looking. It looks great. Posted that sticker video on the 7th. Heard about a series called Thrones of Glass from a coworker of mine. Book readers out there, let me know what you think. I might take it up. I read all sorts of different books. I do lean pretty heavily toward thriller, mysteries, sometimes the more literary type books that don't really have a place, you know, maybe drama. I don't know what you would call them. Like Kristen Hanna, stories, just stories. But I also do delve into fantasy sometimes, and I enjoy it very much. So let me know what you think about that series. So let's see, this day was all black ink. So with this black and white sticker, which is not common. And then I went back at some point and I put in stars and little dots with a different color pen. So this kind of style is kind of cool too, when I have like all colors and then I'll put just one. I like doing that every now and then. Even brown, I even use the brown markers, guys. So I will sometimes put at the very top something that I have planned for that day. Not necessarily the biggest thing, but a big thing I should probably try to remember. Oh my gosh, we got mice. So I went to work. I gotta tell you the story for the poor mice. I'll try to make this entertaining. I got up in the morning, 6 o'clock, to bring my son to school. It is summer now, so no more school. And I went to throw away a coffee filter. And when I opened our trash bin, which is under the sink, you slide it out, I opened it and saw, as soon as I was opening it, my brain registered there's no garbage bag in there because my partner had taken the trash out the night before. And I went to close it again. And then as I did, I was like, what did I just see? What was that? Did I just see mice in the trash can? So I opened it up again, and there were 3 little tiny field mice in the trash can. And one of the mice jumped up so high he almost jumped out at. So I quickly closed it again. I got one of our big cutting boards and I went to open it, and the poor thing, I could hear it like throwing itself up, trying to jump out of the bin. I put the cutting board over it, and I had a firm grasp. I opened our back door, and I let them all out, and they all ran out. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I've never seen mice here. So I put the bin back, and I go to bring my son to school. When I get home, I decide, like, I'm trying to think, how did they get in the darn trash can? Like, it didn't make sense. Did they come through the top of the underside of the sink somehow and drop in? Is there a hole somewhere up there that I'm not aware of? I'm trying to think of what part of our sink is attached to the outside. We do live in a wooded area. And I get home and I just want to, you know, investigate. So I get home and I open it and there's another dang mouse inside. So I bring it outside and at first I thought maybe when Phil had taken the trash out the night before that maybe they had gotten in the bin while the bin was outside just waiting to become brought back in. No, we saw droppings all in there. So for about a good week, we had traps, which I hate having the traps, to be quite honest, but we caught like 6 of them. It was insane. And they only came in through the sink, only the underside of the sink, nowhere else in the house. And so we had to keep making sure we kept the cupboard closed. We're done with the traps. We're not making sure there aren't any more left. It was just a pain in the ass. Poor Phil was chopping his fingers every single time. And so now they just might have adventures around the house and we don't know, but I never see them. And when I lived in Harrisburg at my house there were so many with all the row houses attached to each other and being in an urban environment. There were just so many. But here, they were just adorable. And if they're not doing anything, just go back outside and live your life and, you know, get some of our scraps. That's cool. Anyway, that story's over. So, so we tried some fake crab cakes. They were actually pretty good. We got some, I got the mic and the tripod light for my filming. I'm not using the light this morning because I just thought it was so nice outside that I didn't want to bother. We worked on some of our studio tracks with the band that we're just taking our time with that, and it's no rush. We're like, people know the songs. We're out there singing them. 2 poor dead mice. So yeah, it was just this poor thing. Rain, coffee. I was researching rebounders. I like doing the writing like this. I think that's pretty fun. Work and Planet Fitness. Oh yeah, they have a rowing machine. That was fun. Watched Unfrosted. That movie was really hysterical. Did some video editing. It took me forever to edit that sticker video. This video editing is more like trying to make different kinds of things on YouTube and TikTok. And then my partner's other band had a gig. I like this toast. I think that's pretty fun. Got some sushi, yes. And then for Mother's Day, I had told my son that I wrote a list of options on Mother's Day. This is how I got him to watch The Princess Bride. It's how I got him to watch The Matrix, Fifth Element, some classics, you know, from, you know, the good old 90s, early 2000s, just Gen X appreciative type movies, not too old. He enjoyed it very much. So I told him we would order lunch, and he said, well, I've been thinking about Supernatural, which was on the list. He's like, how about we watch 1 episode of that, and then we'll watch Silence of the Lambs, because he hadn't seen it, and that's, of course, on my list. And I said, great. And then we watched an episode. The food came. I said, so, Silence of the Lambs? And he said, well, if you want to watch another episode of Supernatural, we can. And now that's all we've been watching together. So I like it when my plans work. Next week, oof, this one got full, didn't it? Look at that, this yellow sticker, this long dude. I add dots around the blank spaces. I think that is a cool way to fill it in. As you can see, I don't like a lot of white space. I used my little plan again here, though the writing is more truncated. Stickers and coffee. I think that means I was prepping for my week on Monday morning, so I was putting it all here. Creating icons at work. They were giving me grief. Took a walk. Did some newsletters at work, hanging out on the patio, made some bean and mushroom enchiladas. They were delicious. Drew a sun, so that must mean that I filled in my Sunday daily because I try to do something related to the sun on Sundays. Had to make a chiro appointment, didn't go, didn't call. This was to call and get the appointment, and I didn't both days. This comes up, I believe the following week is when I do my weekly view fruit salad bowl. That is my own little doodle. I love having fruit salad in the morning. Guitar lesson, happy hour, talk to my sister, and my son had some snacks. More where this is just all black. And see, when you first flip the page, did you notice? It's just all black, which is cool. I'm trying to add more doodles again. Just try to write differently each time. And I think that's the trick here. Phil went to go get a new tattoo. We had a practice. We had another practice. That's because we had a gig coming up, I think, that we were really working on. I think our friend was performing with us, and so we were doing songs with him that we weren't quite used to, and he was nervous to do our songs with us. There was a plant fest. We went and got some new plants. Get my own doodle. Look at me go this week with the doodles. Killing it. Went to a new brewery where our band was playing, and our band made out. Oh my God, I got Dairy Queen this day with my son. I felt so sick. I felt so sick. And I read Verity by Colleen Hoover. And then I learned that not all her books are like that, which is too bad, because this is the first book I ever read by her, and it was really fun. I read it in like 3 days, and I haven't done that in ages, read a book that fast. Let's see, change the water filters. We talked about that in our beginning sections here. And then took a walk. I took a 4-mile walk. Our friend Walt stumbled by. He was a mess. And we started watching Marcel with the Shell with Shoes, and then Phil got sleepy, and then we never watched it again. Next week, this is the week that I filmed. So I filmed when it was blank, and I added various stickers, the bigger stickers. And then I just filmed every day that I filled this out. Now, one of the problems with doing this is I use my phone for filming. I don't have a dedicated camera. So every time I wrote something in it, I had to set my camera up, which meant inevitably that I would fill the whole day out at once so that I didn't have to fuss with it too much. And that's not really how I do it. And it was kind of a bummer because you don't really get to see the actual process. So I'd like to get a dedicated camera and then do it very accurately, because I believe when I do it as my mood comes, when I walk by my book and fill in what I just did, it has more variety in the writing. And here I'm just trying to like think of how to write something next, whereas typically I'm not thinking it. It's just how I feel and I do it. So in a weird way, like everything here looks so different, like it was done one at a time, whereas I feel like this kind of, I don't know, it's not the same. I just noticed it's not the same. So as much as it is accurate, it's also inaccurate. So keep that in mind if you go to see that video. I'd love it if you do, and let me know your thoughts and see how different it might be from when I actually did it, because I do go back and add doodles and stickers and dots and stars and hearts and things like that, even after the week is over. I mean, I went back several days just about a week ago. So let's see what we got here. I got my walk, read, bounce. I was starting to do like a qigong bouncing thing, and I haven't. So, you can see that right here. Different exercises, reading, etc. Our dinner, sweet potato. It had some washi tape in it this time. Building some quizzes in Canva. Had therapy, a meeting and a massage. There's some more doodles. My coffee mug doodle. This is a film camera as a doodle. My TV doodles always. A happy hour beer pint. Let's see. Oh, my poor son went out with his friends, and he's like, he wasn't at his dad's house when I went to pick him up, and he said that they went down bike ride to the park, but he has to carry his bike. So I'm driving down one of the main streets in town to go get him, and I see two of his friends just whiz by on their bikes, and they left him, my poor kiddo, they left him down at the end of the road. He's 15, so he was fine, and his bike, the whole back tire, the inner tube was just hanging out and flopping everywhere, and he had been carrying it because he couldn't even roll the bike, and it was exhausted. So we took the tire off and put it in the car, but that was kind of funny. Maple carrots, kale, and pearl couscous for dinner. Killer. Started reading Circe. It was fabulous. Circe by Madeline Miller. That was a great book. My friend Kathy suggested it when it was her birthday on this day. I had to look up some Collinsonia root because your girl had a baby 15 years ago, and there are consequences when it comes to the old hiney, and ain't that some bullshit? Ain't that some bullshit? Let's see. pack and load for gig. Oh yeah, we had a gig, but it looked like it was going to rain and storm. This was a private gig we were having. The dude was doing this really cool thing where he was going kayaking with his friends along the yellow breaches in our area. It was going to be like a 4-hour kayak ride or 3-hour. It ended up being 6 hours, and it was a day and evening when we were expecting storms. We were going to be playing a gig in his backyard at a party for all his friends. But then the storms hit and we were like, no, we can't do it. And indoors was not a possibility. So we canceled that. And then our bandmate Mark made us dinner, which I think was cool. He made us some salmon, zucchini, and rice. We were like, well, what are we going to do for dinner? I was like, we have this meal, we have that meal. I'm kind of tired and don't want to cook. We could order. And then Mark was just like, you know what? I'm going to make you guys dinner. So he got up, he ran to the store, he got some salmon and stuff, and it was delicious. And then our friend Sherry came over and enjoyed it with us. And then we watched the comedian Leanne Morgan on Netflix. She was hysterical. It's called The Big Panty Tour. And girls, I'm telling you, I listened to her. I went on vanityfair.com. I ordered the underwear, and it is indeed quite comfortable. She recommends the pair in there, and it was so funny. And they were on sale at the time for $5 a pair, which is almost impossible to find these days. So I ordered like 5 or 6 pairs. I liked them so much I went to order more, and they were no longer on sale. So I'm getting a different kind, that is, because I'm not spending $13 on a pair of underwear. That just makes me crazy. Then this was my birthday. I turned 47. I watched some CBS Sunday Morning. We had breakfast at another diner because this diner was closed that day, Kim's, and they were closing forever on June 1st. So this would have been probably, we thought at the time, our last time. The day before or the day of their closing, we went to go eat there again. Then friends were coming over. Phil arranged for a bunch of friends to come hang out with me for my birthday. So I cleaned up the house, even though nobody came in the house. We were all out on the patio. It was freaking hot, but we love our patio. So many friends came. They brought food. We jammed and played music with one of our friends after people left because, we were socializing too much to actually play it. And we finished the Leanne Morgan comedy, and then I stayed up and watched Unexplained, and I wasn't ready to go to bed, and Phil wanted to just fall asleep, and I didn't want to just watch TV by myself, and I just wanted his company. I didn't want him to go to bed yet, and he said, all right, but I'm falling asleep, and he fell asleep on the couch with me, and it was probably one of our most romantic moments. I love stuff like that. That was my birthday. And then we had Memorial Day. I was so smart. I took these 2 days off. I am so glad that I did. I need to take more of my days off to just do nothing, and I like doing them when Phil is working. So on my birthday, my friend Kelly brought me these washi sticker books. So they look like this. She gave me about 6 of them, and now that I know what washi sticker books are, I was able to get really excited. So you'll see them show up a lot coming up. So there's Reminisce, Bohemian, Music Sheet. There's one called Portraits, Manuscript, and Vintage. I have those as well. So I put some of them all around the page. This one is plain, and then I put a sticker on top of it. Same here with a sticker on top of it. And you can write on them. And I just like them so much. Look at them. Look at them. So yeah, really cool. Here I did a little bit more hardcore in my lines. We got read, walk, exercise, bounce, learn. I did a little bit better with the bouncing, but that is going to be going away. I started reading Ruth Ware, The Death of Mrs. Westaway, because I had finished Circe. We went to Arts Fest on Memorial Day, and there's only one bar open in town on any given holiday. We always end up going there on a holiday, and it's the only time we go, which is kind of funny. 2 friends came out in the patio. We played some music. I had watched yesterday with my son the movie, and this time Phil wanted to watch it with me. So let's see. Oh yes, on the day off is when I finished Circe. Had some coffee, and I again did my cool little doodle, and I wrote it real little. I had a different plan for this day to just see what it would look like if I wrote really little for the whole day. Like I see some gorgeous spreads out there of women doing, and I didn't. I obviously could not contain myself. $sign because I paid my bills. This is kind of a peek into what I end up doing with my dailies. And then I started a new show because I was home by myself, and it was fun to start a new show just that I could get into whenever I can. Did exercise. I had been doing, I'm starting to do these Grow with Joe workouts. She kept showing up on my YouTube feed. They are fabulous. I am now going on, it must be the fourth week of doing her workouts. They're so fun. They're so varied. It's exercise my body just knows how to do. And I really recommend that you go check her out. I did some writing and some drawing, and I got the kiddo, and we did Supernatural, a cup of coffee, reading Mrs. Westaway, a guitar lesson. Really hard to get my guitar lessons. I'm not going to lie. Like, I sometimes just don't want a guitar lesson. I just want to be done. I just want to be done. And it's interesting. Usually I have my lessons on a Tuesday. I don't recall having it on a Wednesday. So that's really interesting that happened. I don't even remember it. And then we went happy hour. Some of our other friends came out, and we had some asparagus fried rice for dinner. Finished yesterday, I think. Or no, we didn't finish it, but we watched a little more. Phil doesn't last long when it comes to TV. Did not have hot water. Our water heater took a bust again, and I think we're hoping we finally figured out the problem, because every year we've had to buy new water elements, and it's expensive, and it's a bummer. I was working on editing and watching TV during my lunch. This is all work-related stuff. I finally posted the recording of this spread for the whole week. Went to happy hour. The plumber came, had some coffee. Bug guy came because we have ants, and we do that every year as well. Get shit done. And then we had lunch at Kim's, and I got the omelet because that's all I ever ate at Kim's was breakfast. So I had breakfast for lunch, and that was definitely the last day that we saw them. And what a great place to eat. Like, when you find an environment like that where it feels like home, it doesn't feel like a diner, and you know the servers, and there's banter and joking, and they know who you are, and they remember your birthday before you're even coming in. You know, they know it. It's really cool. I decided to start counting calories again. Now, this last week, I stopped. Instead of counting calories, I decided, with the encouragement of a friend, to count my fiber and protein intake. You'll see how I am tracking that in June. When she said that to me, I was like, oh, I should really be tracking the healthy stuff that I need to have every day instead of counting the calories. And it makes a lot of sense, because when you eat stuff that's high in protein and high in fiber, it's already lower calorie anyway, and it's just a lot less stressful. So I went back to the week and a half that I had been counting my calories to see what my fiber and protein intake was, and it was dismal. I was barely getting, not even barely, I wasn't getting at all the fiber I should have been taking in. And only one day was I getting the protein I should have been taking in. The fiber I never got one day, not once. So I think that counting fiber and protein is the way to go. Calories can screw it. I'm just going to eat the healthy stuff and trust that my body is using that healthy stuff in the right way. So I think that if you like that idea, you should do it too. And all black. I just was filling out the week quickly, so you can see I just was, and it's fine. It still does what I needed to do. My poor son was sick. I went to Foundry Day. The first time Phil ever held my hand when we started dating was we went to Foundry Day, and he reached for my hand and held it, and I let him, because he reached for it a couple times and I was not quite prepared, but this time I was. So that was fun. He got me some birthday earrings while we were there, and now it's like just a special fun thing for us to do. Then we had a gig that afternoon, and it's not often we do something before we have a gig, but we have a gig, and that's a fun place to have a gig. All of our friends show up, and we basically fill the place. Then our friends Tom and Sherry came back and hung out with us in the patio. Poor son still felt sick, so we watched Supernatural, and I doodled while we did. Next day, we got coffee and bagels. I saw my friend Rebecca and Joe. Then my son went over back to his dad's, and then Phil and Kevin went to the house that I rent out and cut down some trees. I did a great 45-minute workout. Like, what? But I did. Go me. We planted some milkweed and hydrangeas, and then we had dinner. And that was the beginning of June. So you will see the rest of June when you come back next month. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see that. Let's head on over to the Dailies. Somebody is in the shower, so I know they're going to come down and interrupt my flow, and that'll be fine. At the beginning of each month, set up this page with some stickers. This is where I kind of trap things that were kind of big in the month, and I like doing that. So like my first time jamming with my son, Supernatural on Mother's Day. My son got a new guitar. I got 5 days off. I worked on the new song Hula Hoop. I started doing some Zentangle doodles. I have more lyrics on this day. I did shared drawings with, that's my son. Fucking Hemis, I don't need to explain anymore. My birthday. Over the month of May, I walked 21.74 miles. I have not been walking in June because I've just been doing the exercises. Pigeons playing ping pong. The opener was Kendall Street Company at Club XL with the Kleins, Phil and Kevin. I read Verity. I read I Found You by Lisa Jewell. I read Circe, but maybe I didn't write that in here. Yeah, I don't think I wrote it in here. I should, though. I have a list of like the books I read this month. A great gig at Castle Rig. Our friend Tom opened for us. And on May 6th, I had 531 subscribers. And by the end of May, I think I had about 570. Amazing. And that's, I like keeping track of that growth. Gig at Bridgewater. So I did 15 workout sections, 552 minutes of working out. Burned 3,253 calories according to my watch. Got a great new jumpsuit from Quince, which it was really cool. The private gig was canceled. So for the dailies, I started out with this doodle. This is just my pen with all the different colors, and I just did a square and I lined them up. Somebody had requested a video with doodles, and I admit I filmed one. And then I didn't like it. It was too scatterbrained, but then I am scatterbrained and I kind of regret deleting it and just at least putting it out there for people to enjoy. I wanted to eventually do one that was a little bit more cohesive. So do a doodle video that's just with basic shapes, and then do another video that's with creativity. I really want to get on this thing about helping people break into creativity and recognizing that the power is within you. As long as we think it has to be pretty or it has to be a certain way, it's not going to work, because the whole idea behind creativity is breaking rules. And I really want to do a series like that. And every time I go to do it, I'm ignoring my own advice and I'm deleting the messy videos. So I'm going to try not to do that next time. On Mother's Day, my son was watching me do this. I was going backwards, I think. Maybe it wasn't Mother's Day. He said, hey, can we do that thing we used to do where I start a drawing and then you add to it and we go back and forth? So that's what we did, and this is what we came up with. It's really fun to do. I hope that he continues to ask, and I told him to sign it, and I signed it. This was just a free write, automatic writing exercise, because this month was really hard for me to keep up with the dailies. So porridge monsters steal honey from pockets left in hives, unattended and unwarranted, until crash, bing, and bang make unannounced appearances. Doesn't make sense, but it's super fun to write this way. So questions could be asked if everyone agreed to having unanswered marks punctuate the air. Playing with words. I love it. Phil picked one of our irises for me. It had broken over and fallen at the stem, so he picked it. And I decided to try painting it. It's a little peach one. I have a picture that I will try to post here of the real flower. I don't paint flowers, but I do think that it would be cool to do that and put some up on the wall in my reading room. I think it'd be fun. This is Sunday. I try to do something sun-related, and sometimes I forget. These were the Tombow markers, because I noticed as much as I like the Staedtler markers and they're significantly cheaper, they bleed through the pages a lot more than the Tombow. So this is with Tombow marker, and really fun. This is a doodle I had been doing for a few years where I just draw stems. I really enjoy doing it, and this is the difference in my dailies. There's a lot more of this sort of stuff in my dailies. There is another just wordplay free write. Catatonic catastrophes are cats with trophies and cataracts with high wire cats doing acrobatics. That's a lot of tutus for such a small circus. Circus of fleas jumping through tiny hoops like earrings on very small children, making escapades to escape Alcatraz. It's playing with words and what they sound like. Finding trapezius dorsi muscles too tense for escapism. The mechanism for such shenanigans is small, very small, holding in that tiny space an entire circus of fleas holding market on a button found in the inner pocket of a fuchsia pink lady's jacket. Covered in fur that once covered the feline slink of a Persian cat with round blue eyes, the pupils a hue off center of sea blue, sending sunsets skidding off the horizon like a bullet ricocheting off the edge of another bullet, grazing violence before the explosion of a sunrise, stars twinkling still in its own darkness, unseen and existing, miraculously in the same space as donuts and Fruit Loops, markers, glitter, workout equipment, and people who want to spend long hours on their electronic equipment, putting body coverings in virtual carts they'll never touch, wishing, collecting, coveting items they'll never own. That was one long-ass sentence, you guys. And in that, the wishing drone of needing an intangible item to have tangible things. We become catatonic catastrophes as well, puddles of humanness on a sphere floating and weighted in the universe. I should just make that a short. I'm just going to read that out loud and put that up there. I like doing stuff like that. That's like a creative breakthrough in your brain, and you get the words flowing, and it really helps with writing lyrics. It reminds me of that song, Mr. Jones by the Counting Crows. You know, when you write like that, the combinations that you come up with. And I ended up writing that on the 15th of May, so some pages I just leave blank. These are doodles my son said he does in class, and I really wanted to see them. I said, show me what you do doodle. And these are his doodles. Aren't they killer? Like, check out this eyebrow and the mustache and the teeth. I love it. And this, like, the vomit face, the two dudes looking at each other. I love that he does this. I really do. I save drawings that he makes. So here's another free writing thing I did. Rabbits riding high streets with motor cars and simple beats screaming from rolled up windows galore. Roger calls from up on high, second floor, not in the sky, and closer than I'd ever heard before. Ooh, this one rhymes. Melodies did not exist in this space before or since, but never could we understand, not under this pretense. Mobile phones ringing almost as loud as trains, and Chinese torture finger traps and rubber, jiggly brains. Farmers have their things to say about rabbits, traps, and brains. High rises always notwithstanding. Gardens with their leafy greens and plump orange rounds of joy, purple growths with bumps and wrinkles and growing by bok choy. Chopped, refined, wined, and dined as bunny rabbits perhaps look on. Faster meals have been made, climbing stairs in high-rise motels and ant farms, mini hotels for ants, and then we lost it. I was researching rebounders this day, and so I hadn't painted in a while, so I did that. And I was supposed to look up what is Hamelin, an exercise routine, DeBell. I think I looked it up and it was expensive, so I carried on. This is a doodle I had done. This is literally just drawing squares to squares to squares. Any of these types of Zentangle things you want to see, I'm thinking about making a video about how to do all of the ones that you see here. And it will just be one video, I think, of each one. So let me know if you find that to be an interesting idea. Mother's Day, and my son made me a card, which is funny because Phil bought him a card to give to me last year, and my son forgot to sign it, so it's still upstairs in his room. And I love Phil for thinking of it to help Oisin out, and this year he drew me one. Look at that. He's getting to the age where he thinks of it on his own, so I'm pretty pleased. That was really cool. This is, again, some free writing. These I got from Amy, y'all. If you have not visited her flip-throughs and her Hobonichi Cousin, they are gorgeous. Amazing. She's an artist, an illustrator. She does collage-type work in paperwork. In hers, her personality is kick-ass. She has a setup where you can see her talk at the same time and watch her books. And I would love to have a setup like that. I just don't yet. I need another camera, I believe. But she does flowers like this in her book, and I said, I want to do flowers like that. And she said, go for it. And so here I am. This is how I did it. In some land where stars are gray, live dreams that go undreamt. And in the glow before they rise, their hopes have silently wept. And under sparks that always linger, beneath a roar do they stay dull. Comes more that hovers and teeters on an edge, blurred and frayed and lulled. Like rhizomes locked in an underground kit, only thriving above the soil, pit, it says pit. Like rhizomes locked in an underground pit, only thriving above the soil, stars and souls resist their urge to pulse, to shine, to grow. But in us all, the dust it floats, encouraging, filling, and toil. Oh, encouraging, tilling, and toil. Our souls will shine, no matter how fine our soulful and hopeful soil. No matter how fine our soulful and hopeful soil. Oh, that's pretty. Go, Kristen. Go, Kristen. All right. obviously another doodle. And this is very, very simple and easy to do. And I would love to be able to show you guys. We can do them together. This is another one where me and my son shared. My ballpoint ink pen kind of showed through, so it adds to the chaos. He signed it, I signed it, where he started one thing, I started another. I typically always add and find faces and turned it into a figure sitting down. This is another doodle. It looks cool before you color it in as well. I liked it colored in, but I kind of wish I didn't color it in, but it is what it is. And filling in other spots with pen would have been cool, except I made it black. This was the pages where I'm working on lyrics for a song called Hula Hoop. And it's really a song about doing whatever you want without the judgment of someone else living with you. And it says you can cry to yourself, but it won't mean a damn thing to me. So, like, you know, you can complain all you want. I got shit to do. Here is a sun. Apparently, I did not completely forget to do a sun. And then this is a free write. The thick mist rolled over the horse like a lover, promising protection and warmth. Except Mara felt a chill run scared deep in her bones. It sent a crooked finger to the base of her neck, and as if tipped with a long fingernail knife point sharp at the ends, it pressed inward. So I don't know what that's beneath her skull, a rotten tickle that promised vomit over giggles. That sounds like a pretty one. We won't read that. More of my Zentangle / doodles. This one looks cool and fun. This is, I love the flowingness of this. I used to draw mandalas also, and I'm trying to find that notebook that I had my mandalas in. It was going to be strictly for just mandalas, and I'd like to pull it out and do some more in them. They're really fun and nice to do, and they're mindless and pretty. So this is also a really fun, nice one to do, and it has a combo of the flowy ones, the pipe ones, the snakes, and just straight lines. And I like that a lot. This one, I was trying to do a thing that it shows it all broken up. I kind of messed it up, so you only see like columns of what it was supposed to look like. Here is how it was supposed to go this way, but I messed it up, or it was too big to do it. And all of these, by the way, you can see on Pinterest. Like, that's how I got inspired to be doing these ones, was by looking at some things on Pinterest. I did not make these up. I mean, the direction and flow of things, yes, but the actual technique I did not, you know, make up. I just want to make that clear. So this was 10 by 10 boxes in the Hobonichi. And then this one was 7 by 7 boxes. And you see how it's a bit more broken up. And it all depends on how you line up, like which ones you color in black and which ones you leave. So that was cool. So it's my birthday, so I wrote a little note about my birthday. Placed some of the new washi stickers that I had gotten and did some doodling around that. And this was a writing prompt. I threw my phone in the bed and stretched my shoulders. So that was fun to do. I like writing prompts, and I tried to make sure I was still writing. Another writing prompt, I love the washi stickers. What do you mean you lost the bag? And then Frank had enough. And that this was actually not based on a prompt I was given or found. It was based on the stickers. Same here. This one was also, I met him in the dining car in the ride from Frankfurt to Berlin. So these are fun to do also. And then the last day, the words that matter and relate to the story that I want to put into a song. This is just me working out a new song idea. So then by the time I filled this in on June 2nd, I had 574 Amazing people in my subscribed. So at the back, I have my budgeting page, which I still have to do a video to show you how to do my budgeting. I added any new bills that are kind of off kilter and don't fit. Still doing nothing with this. I filled in all the things that I had read. So in May, I read The Winter Garden. I finished that. Watched yesterday with my son. I read Verity and I Found You. Watched The Antisocial Network, and I finished Circe. So I recorded that somewhere. And then back here, I still keep a list of movies we want to watch and cross them out when we're done. And I keep track of my exercising. And you can see I started doing a little bit better. And that's it. That's all I got for you. May was a great month. I can't wait to see you in June. You guys are the best. Peace out, home skillets.